Hello Dulwich College, my name is Florian. I am a wildlife and nature photographer, filmmaker. Over the last few years, I've been able to work with BBC, National Geographic, Netflix, and today I'm quite excited to share my work with you, my passion and my vision of the world. I am now based in Tromsø in north of Norway in the high Arctic, and this is probably because when I was 10 years old my parents took me to Rovaniemi in Finland, and it was -40, wild, white, and I could experience this unique feeling of being there when I was young. Since then my love for nature just kept on growing, and year after year I knew that I wanted to do something with it. But listen to that. I was young, I was at school, and in the end, society, life took me on a very different path. I ended up at 18 years old working on an helicopter full of electronics and in the French army. Can you imagine at this moment of my life how far I was of my dream of nature? So over the last 10 years, I've been building my way back to nature, this dream that I had when I was young. The thing is that it wasn't simple, I had to fail a lot. I had to learn everything by myself until one day I could quit all my daily life, leave it behind and just sail towards the Arctic. This is when I started to create a new type of images. So I would like now to share some of those new type of images with you, and especially this one that is probably the strongest one of my work. It's an image right above a polar bear in the Arctic, crossing two pieces of sea ice melting during the summer. It was the first one like this. This image didn't exist before, and I believe that it's showing the animal in his entire space and landscape, showing how they use the ice to survive. The second one that I got that was pretty strong in the same kind of work was in Antarctica, when I could fly above crab-eater seals resting on the ice after the feed. This is clearly showing how they use the ice to rest together on this piece of ice after they feed all night. The day before I also got the same species, the crab-eater seals, feeding all together in open water close to the broken ice. That was also truly unique, and I believe that aerial images allow us to see the beauty of nature and the beauty of the animals in a new way, not possible before. Lately I've been doing some work on the Greenlandic ice sheet that was melting pretty early in 2019. After that I continue and I went to Svalbard. Last summer I sailed there and I got some pretty nice new shot also with the drone, allowing to understand how many walruses were hauling out on the beach. But you will see more later in a video. Since then I'm using my camera, my passion, my skills to bring light on issues, to give a voice to those that cannot speak, the wildlife, the glacier, and to reconnect people to nature. Indeed, the polar regions, as many other places on the planet, are facing a range of threats, including the rise of the temperature, which melt the ice and threaten the whole ecosystem of the polar regions, but also of the planet. Because what we have to understand is that when we touch the Arctic or Antarctica, changing the landscape of it, we are impacting the whole ecosystem of planet Earth. The polar regions are one of the key for life on Earth. They cool down the planet and make life possible everywhere else. I do believe that we as humans are part of nature, and that we need to work with nature rather than against nature. We need to reconnect ourselves to nature, and I'm going to tell you why. Since I was a little boy, I heard about the climate change, I heard about the loss of the biodiversity and all the impact that we are living on the planet. And so I've been trying to understand why nothing has been changing the last 30 years since I was born. And my theory is that we are so disconnected from nature, we don't feel like we are destroying ourselves. But listen to that. We have a huge fire. And what we do is that we put water on top of the fire. And don't get me wrong, we need to do that. It's important. And what I call the water on the fire is all the green and eco-friendly actions that we are taking by trying to reduce the carbon print, trying to have electrical cars, trying to, cut on meat and all of this. And this is important. We need to do it. But we know that when we have a fire in a forest, if we only put water on top, it doesn't work. We also need to cut the source of the fuel coming into the fire. And this source of fuel is our attitude towards nature. It's the fact that we are disconnected from nature. We don't feel part of nature. I think it is really important to reconnect people to nature if we want to solve the major issues that we are facing. Because when you are part of a family, when you are part of a social group or a school like you do, you want to nourish it, you want to make it thrive and make it a better place. So if we were part of nature again, we would care about nature naturally. We would just do it in our daily life because that would be, part of us. And I believe that this is the way we can solve the big issues. Now I would like to end this short presentation with two powerful videos, because I believe that photography and video can steer emotion and help us to reconnect people to nature.
As spring returns to the high Arctic, the ice cracks and melts under the power of the returning sun. And with the sun, life returns to this frozen world. Polar bears, Arctic foxes, seals, walruses, narwhal and whales roam the Arctic in search of food. In just a few summer months, these animals have to find enough food in order to survive the next winter. Soon enough, the sun sets once again for many months through the seemingly never-ending polar winter. With greater ice melt shattering their essential hunting and breeding grounds, many species become refugees in their own natural habitat. am vital. What does water mean to you? Why is it so essential to our lives? We need fresh water for the survival of all living things, including us, humans. Water around our planet appears in many forms: solid, liquid, and gas. These fundamental elements create many opportunities for life to flourish in a stunningly efficient variety of microclimates and habitats. Almost 70% of fresh water on our planet is held in glaciers and ice sheets. And the Arctic and Antarctica hold almost all of the ice on the Earth's surface. These polar regions are essential to the balance of our world. Ice keeps surfaces cool by reflecting up to 2/3 of all incoming sunlight. This phenomenon, albedo, helps to balance the temperatures of our planet. Floating sea ice is a unique ecosystem providing home to polar species. Today, disappearing sea ice threatens nature's living systems, which in turn endangers our homes and communities. Glaciers and ice sheets are retreating at a pace never predicted before, leading to a gradual freshening of the oceans, affecting currents and global weather patterns. We need to understand that when we accelerate the changing shape of our frozen landscapes, we're impacting the whole ecosystem of planet Earth. We take water for granted, even though it's something we all depend on. Just as we depend on air, whole living systems depend on ice. It's beautiful. It's clear. Our future depends on our efforts to save this form of water, the ice. The ice is vital. It is life itself.
in the end, nature always creates incredible things and achieve great things. So I believe as we are part of nature, in the end, we will together achieve great things and make the turn. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation. I hope I will have the chance to see you soon online to respond to your question, and I wish you a great day.